I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball.
Following the NBA's strategy of emphasizing high-profile rivalries to boost viewership, the WNBA just announced its first-ever Rivals Week for the 2025 season. They're now stealing not just their money, but also their thoughts. Since everyone enjoys a good competition, this should be easy, right? Okay.
Surprise, surprise.
It's a failure already. Fans rushed to X to laugh the league off the site after looking at the list of rivalry as soon as it was revealed. With surgeon-level accuracy, they dissected every game and player. When it comes to using Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's most prized marketing tool, it appears that the organization has not learned its lesson. Based on some of the WNBA players' comments we've just heard, I believe there's more going on here. Jealousy and drama persist. Let's get started and find out if the W will make a mistake during its most crucial season. First, though, let us know which WNBA rivalry you like best and whether you believe that fans are solely interested in Caitlin Clark. In order to generate fan interest, the WNBA has been frantic to incite rivalries. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has consistently underlined how crucial star showdowns are for progress.
We need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Engelbert publicly expressed his hope that the Clark-Reese game would be the league's Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird moment, alluding to the way the NBA was sparked by those two Hall of Famers' college rivalries in the 1980s.
It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two.
The concept seemed obvious. Two dynamic and competitive collegiate athletes have the potential to enthrall the country and redefine the WNBA's profile. She was somewhat correct, though.
That was the right decision by Christie Sides not to challenge it. Would have been a tough one to get. Clark off the screen, finds some space, and delivers! It's a triple for Caitlin Clark.
Following last year's Olympic break, Caitlin Clark embarked on a spectacular run, winning Rookie of the Year and averaging about 23 points per game at that period. She attracted millions of new spectators while leading the team to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Additionally, Angel Reese didn't have the same effect on the court as she had on social media, where she garnered corporate sponsorships and gained new followers. Despite her impressive double-double average, she struggled with poor scoring efficiency, particularly from within 5 feet, where she was among the league's worst. Then came the I'll call out takes part.
He comes up with the board. Long pass, perfect to Reese. She was unable to get it in.
Angel and Caitlin were being likened to Dennis Rodman and Steph Curry, respectively. Don't get me wrong, Angel had an excellent rookie season overall, and rebounds are crucial. I apologize, but she simply isn't on par with Caitlin. At this moment, the WNBA is promoting the rivalry to increase viewership. As of right present, the league is making a concerted effort to create new plots. So began WNBA Rivalry Week. This unique slate of games on the 2025 schedule, which runs from August 9th to August 17th, is expected to include intense rivalries in every match. A full week of rivalry games, according to Engelbert, will motivate the team to make a run for the playoffs and keep fans interested during a crucial period of the season. Theoretically, it's a clever move. Similar rivalry weeks have been held by the NBA for a few years, and they have created excitement with historic games like the Lakers versus Celtics. Some of that action is what the WNBA wants. What games are planned during this first Rivals Week, then? The statement states that we will see games such as the Golden State Valkyries versus Los Angeles Sparks, the New York Liberty versus Minnesota Lynx, the Atlanta Dream versus Phoenix Mercury, and Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever versus Angel Reese's Chicago Sky. How did fans respond then? It was, well, brutal. Social media was flooded with jokes and jabs about how phony the WNBA's announcement of Rivals Week felt. None of these are actual rivalries, which is the most frequent critique.
Off to Stewart! 28 years in the making! The New York Liberty are WNBA champions!
Fans noted that the matchup was quite arbitrary, with the exception of the Liberty versus Lynx clash, which only took place in the finals. Phoenix versus Atlanta. If you're a diehard follower of women's basketball, you could find the Brittany Griner saga intriguing, but are casual viewers interested in Brittany's past? The Golden State Valkyries, the expansion team, were the subject of the greatest eye roll of all. How can an expansion squad have a rival already? Was the caustic remark. The league was openly ridiculed for promoting the Valkyries and Sparks' newest rivalry in California. It's clear that geography is the sole factor that unites those teams. In essence, Reddit and X fans criticized the WNBA for making too much effort. Every contest the league wanted to promote seemed to have a rivalry sticker applied to it. In particular, jeers were directed towards the Chicago versus Indiana matchup. People are aware that the Clark against Reese angle is the only reason it is being called a rivalry. Other than that, there isn't much of a competition between the Sky and Fever.
Lambeer losing it. They are just not with it yet.
Just not with it. Bill Lambeer sure-handed normally.
And now they have to fight for this series. P.J. Brown throws Charlie Ward. Watch out. This one's going to get really ugly. P.J. Brown picked Charlie Ward up and threw him into the photographer's row.
In sports, genuine rivalries are developed over years of significant conflicts, postseason contests, and maybe some slander or controversy. You can't just slap a Ferrari baby on a Kia and call it a Ferrari when your most committed followers respond with memes and doubt. The league wasn't trying to create that kind of buzz. The blowback was definitely noted by the W's marketing team. Why is the WNBA promoting this so strongly? One could wonder. Why now, too?
League won. But every time we think there's a win, there's somebody who brings something else up.
The WNBA is dealing with a bigger conflict here: how to fairly promote its top players while still treating all of its teams and players equally. However, the harsh reality is that not all athletes have the same amount of drawing power when it comes to entertainment value. In 2024, Caitlin Clark took over the league's analytics, as we recently witnessed. As a result, other teams and celebrities unavoidably received less national attention.
With such star power on those teams, it's really no surprise they're atop the list for the most games available for you to check out on a national scale. The Fever, they lead the league with 41 games here, followed by the Aces 33, the champion Liberty at 32.
Some players and fans were incensed when the 2025 national TV schedule was announced. The Fever will be shown on national television or streamed 41 of their 44 games, which is by far the most of any WNBA team. The New York Liberty, the reigning champion, will play 32 games that are televised nationwide. Some were offended, but it's understandable why networks anticipate bigger ratings when Clark is performing. When asked about this on ESPN's First Take, Minnesota Lynx standout Nafisa Collier provided a fairly direct response.
Is this a fair move by the W?
I think it's two things. I mean, obviously people want to watch Caitlin play, and so you have to put the people on TV that people want to see. But at the same time, like, there's stars all over the league, and you want good basketball as well. Obviously, Indiana, especially like with their free agents, they're gonna be a great team. But to not have the defending champs on TV more, I think it's kind of crazy.
The league found itself on the defense stating, "Hey, we don't choose the TV schedule. The broadcasters do." And it's accurate. The games are desired by ESPN and CBS that appeal, although it was difficult to see. The WNBA was allegedly over-indexing on one new star at the detriment of others, according to the narrative it supported. Now we have Rivals Week, which, whether on purpose or not, seems to be an effort to share the limelight a little by assigning everyone to play unique games. See, we pay attention to all our franchises and players, not just Caitlin, the league may claim. The issue is that using artificial rivalry labeling to accomplish this might not be the most effective strategy. The WNBA seems to be stuck between two opposing urges. One is to aggressively expand the game by riding the wave of star power. Second, promote all clubs equally and inclusively to avoid making seasoned players and other markets feel overlooked. rivals' weak attempts to find a solution. For example, the main event will still be Clark versus Ree. The great draw is too strong to ignore. Hey, look at all these other rivalries. Not just Caitlin Clark, they add. The thing is this. It is impossible to force rivalries. The greatest famous rivalries in sports history develop naturally as a result of frequent high-stakes matches or sincere animosity, not because the league office ordered them. Following their multiple finals meetings and title trades, the Lakers versus Celtics matchup became legendary. Arima and Summit were two coaching titans that were always fighting for control of the UConn-Tennessee women's college program. Fans roll their eyes when they see anything like Sparks versus Valkyries. Not even a season has been played by the Valkyries. How did they already have the most formidable opponent? A discerning fan cannot be persuaded that there is a blood feud there by any amount of marketing jargon. At best, it's a regional rivalry attempt. Northern California against Southern California isn't there now, but it could develop into anything in the future. In a similar vein, merely referring to any random contest as a rivalry weakens its significance. Fans are intelligent. When they perceive a true rivalry, they recognize it.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
In the WNBA, even the biggest event, Ree versus Clark, does not accurately depict a fierce on-court rivalry between teams. The matchup is personal and has its origins in collegiate theater. However, except from the fact that these two rookies had two memorable meetings in March Madness, the Indiana versus Chicago plotline in the WNBA isn't really compelling. The players themselves have minimized any rivalry on numerous occasions.
I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball. Like, that's what it is.
Clark has stated in previous interviews that she doesn't understand why Reese is portrayed as her enemy. Despite not being best friends, we treat each other with a great deal of respect. Yes, we have fought some really tough battles. However, when did I ever protect her? When did she start protecting me? They don't even directly correspond very well, she said. As for Angel Reese, she has also shown appreciation for Caitlin, even declaring, "I love Caitlin."
And obviously that has become a thing and people are just trying to make it seem like it's something, but I love Caitlin and I love her game and I admire everything that she's done.
And so rather than being between them personally, the competition story is more external. That is to say, from the player's point of view, there isn't any real hostility or at least competitive back and forth. Does it qualify as a rivalry? According to one commentator, Clark versus Ree is currently comparable to Michael Jordan versus LeVar Ball. The excitement isn't based on anything occurring on the court, it's just outside noise. A stretch, to be sure, but you get the idea. That one hand wave and ring point in college, which, to be honest, Clark herself dismissed at the time, is the only reason anyone now brings about their animosity. The media inflated it up into a cultural moment, and the WNBA is attempting to prolong that moment. What then happens if the league is unable to create rivalries? Other than concentrating entirely on Caitlin Clark, how else can the WNBA use its rising stardom and develop gripping narratives that entice viewers? Perhaps the solution is easier. Emphasize the plots and particular confrontations that people are already drawn to, even if they aren't currently rivals, and allow the drama to unfold organically. Put differently, rely on real stories. For instance,
Here's Asia Wilson knocking down her first look.
superstars against each other. Put the league's biggest stars up and center rather than acting as though every side has a competitor. When top players compete against one another, fans will watch. Term of rivalry or not. Consider an MVP conflict. Promotion of the Clark versus Asia Wilson game. A fictitious rivalry backstory is not necessary for that. The talent and stakes make it thrilling. It might even be presented as a measuring stick game or a possible preview of the finals. Basketball fans are drawn to particular blockbuster matches of that nature.
And there's the buzzer. It's an even dozen for Gino Auriemma and Connecticut.
College roots clash with rookies. Increasingly well-liked college athletes are joining the W. College fans are following them to the professional ranks, as we know. Therefore, to the league's credit, they intend to schedule and extensively promote games like Wings vs. Fever and Paige Bueckers vs. Caitlin Clark. Another is that since Bueckers and Hailey Van Lith are in the same draft class, a game between them would attract interest if Van Lith starts for TCU. Although there aren't rivalries yet, there is an existing college audience that is being promoted when the top rookies compete rather than hastily assigning a rivalry name. Allow them to play, and perhaps some lighthearted banter can spark a continuing rivalry. Lastly, they can advertise playoff rematches and finals rematches. With the Liberty and Lynx, the WNBA is doing this correctly. That is the beginning of a rivalry. There is usually more juice in a finals rematch. In a similar vein, mark any future playoff meetings between the Aces and Liberty on your calendar. With their lineups of superstars, those two teams are naturally becoming rivals. The league does not require a special week title to promote its regular season meetings as major events if they do not coincide with Rivals Week. Using current history that fans saw and cared about is crucial. It is ultimately impossible to create genuine rivalries on demand. Authenticity appeals to fans, and they will choose which matches are essential to watch. Given that the league's quality is at an all-time high, the WNBA's new Rivals Week is an audacious attempt to package excitement and will surely feature some fantastic basketball. However, just because a game is called a rivalry doesn't mean it is.
Offensively, 2 offensive possessions, 2 buckets for the Fever. Caitlin Clark for 3, rattles it around for her first deep shot.
Allowing these stories to unfold naturally could help the league gain more popularity. Regardless of whether it's Rivals Week or not, Caitlin Clark will attract audiences and viewers. She did just that last season. Angel Reese will keep improving, and perhaps one day she and Caitlin will actually be competing for a title. After that, our rivalry will be deserving of its moniker. It can seem pointless to force a story of good versus evil or hatred towards one another when there isn't any. These fresh faces are significantly responsible for the WNBA's current exciting growth phase. The clever move is to showcase the games of players like Clark and Bueckers, Reese, and others to capitalize on the surge of interest in them while also honoring the intelligence of the fans. Sure, give us the matches we desire, but don't dictate how we should feel about them. We will sense if there is a genuine rivalry. No sponsorship or hashtag will persuade us otherwise if it's not. What are your thoughts? With Rivals Week, is the WNBA headed in the right direction, or should they stop attempting to create feuds? Leave a remark with your thoughts. Additionally, if you're still here, say hello by leaving a basketball in the comments. Thank you for viewing.